I'm about to broach a sensitive religious subject, and I'm simply going to have a conversation about it. I'm not going to get all, I'm not going to get too biblical on anyone, but I'm just going to speak in a way where I know that everybody will be able to understand what I'm saying. The topic I need to speak on is abundance versus poverty in religion. Now, I know there are some denominations that they're against materialism. Okay, I get that. But some of them take it a little bit too far to the point where you're not supposed to have anything at all. Now, if you're involved in a religion where you have been led to believe that having anything material is going to send you straight to hell or whatever place they send you in your religion to be punished, if you're happy in that, be happy. I'm not going to criticize or make any comments on that if you're happy. But if you're not happy, and you previously lived a life in this world, you weren't balling out of control or anything like that, but you were able to make a decent living. You were able to take care of things and enjoy your life. And now you've joined this particular religious sect or denomination or cult or whatever the case may be, and the first thing they tell you is to give all that stuff up. Now, let me tell you something about our Creator. I'm not sure exactly what denomination a lot of people could be. They could be Protestant, Catholic, Jewish, Muslim. I know there are certain things that you're required to give up in this world, and I get that. But don't get it twisted. A lot of the scriptures do talk about how you have to give up certain material things. But that doesn't mean you have to walk around naked and homeless and without any food. Now, you may have a season where you're going through something spiritually for whatever reason, but that's a season. Let me give you a case in point. Let's say you have a family, devoted churchgoers, go to a particular church, very active in the church, and let's say the man and the wife just got married. 5 years later, they have a couple of children. They're raising the children, still struggling. 5 more years later, the children are almost, teenagers. They're making plans to leave home. Another 5 years, 10 years, kids are getting ready to leave home, have already left home. They're still in the same position that they were 20 years before. But anytime that anybody addresses them in regards to their situation as to why they haven't advanced, they'll sit there and they'll spout out all of these Bible verses out of context, talking about how God just wanted them to stay put and do this, that, and the other. I can imagine the number of opportunities that were presented to them over 20 years. They could have been given them the opportunity to become missionaries. They could have been given the opportunity for better jobs. They could have been given the opportunity to live in a better place, a place where the cost of living isn't so high. They could have a little money in their pocket. And 9 times out of 10, in a lot of these cases, most of the children see that. But see, when they go to public school, they see that life is different than the way they're living. And the majority of them, when they see their parents are programmed like that, they are ready to leave home once they graduate. And when they leave, most of them leave and they go a far distance away because they want to experience the world. They've been exposed in school for 12, 13 years and been shown that life can be different. But they were involved in a religion where they were taught that rich people were bad. Anybody who was wealthy is bad. Anybody who wants to have anything to better themselves materially is bad. And I know there's a thin line between wanting better and being materialistic. There's a very thin line. But it involves a mindset. See, when you're materialistic, you put material things above everything else that's in your mind. And you're willing to do anything and make any sacrifice, which includes hurting someone, in order to get that material thing. That's materialism at the highest level. But when you want a little bit more, there's a little bit more consciousness and care with what you get. And I can't speak for any of the other denominations. I do have some friends in those denominations. And the majority of them tell me, for the most part, that abundance is supposed to be our right as children of the Creator. Because when we have abundance, then we then could be a testimony of His existence, and we can help others. Because you can't help give anybody anything if you don't have anything. Excuse me. So if you don't have anything, how can you give something to somebody? You can't. And I mentioned before in a previous audio that people are watching you, especially once you have declared this particular faith. You've gone from one lifestyle to another. People are watching you. You are a living, breathing testimony of what you claim to believe in. And some of them are on board. They're your cheerleader, but some of them are looking for you to fail. They're possessed by that demonic spirit that is just believes that you're never going to make it. So when you're sitting here struggling and you have people who are considering their spirituality, they'll see you struggling 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, and that person is like, you know what, I'm doing pretty good where I'm at right now because I don't want to take a step down and then turn around and smile and say praise the Lord when I know everything's a struggle. I don't want to be struggling. If I'm struggling now, I don't want to turn around and profess something and then have to wind up struggling and be in a lesser position than I am right now. I've made too many sacrifices, gone through too much training, went through too much to try to get this. But the Creator wants us to live abundantly. He doesn't want us to struggle. But we have some religions, and a lot of them are doing that because they want to have power over the people who serve them. See, if they give up their materialism, they're giving up part of their status, giving up a part of their decision-making, giving up a part of their leadership because they have less things to control. Therefore, the leadership in that particular religion or sect or cult can have control over them because they're in a lower status. They're in a lower mindset once they give up everything. And like I said, there are some religious denominations where they do go through periods, and I'm talking about the average person. I'm not talking about people who are, spiritually led, like spiritual leaders. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the average person like you and me that, has an income, does things on a regular basis, and deals with the regular world. I'm not talking about people who are shut off or who have been trained by birth to perform certain religious duties. They are exempt from this conversation. I'm talking about regular folks like you and me that lived every single day in this world and we know how it's run. And we turn around and get involved in a certain denomination or group or whatever, and you're required by them to give up all this stuff. And the majority of them want you to give that stuff to them. You've been brainwashed. It's a form of brainwashing. So I'm going to go ahead and title this as another entry in the brainwashing series. But you just got to be careful. Be careful. Just because, mama and grandmama and uncle and aunt went to that particular church and the whole family's been going to the church all those years, you've seen those people struggle all their lives. Living from hand to mouth, what my grandmother used to say. Opportunities come and go. They don't want to take them. Don't want to accept the blessings that are being sent towards them because it's not associated with the religion, not associated with the church. If it's not associated with the church or the religion, it's not real. It's not of God. That's another thing that people are brainwashed to believe. But then they'll turn around and they'll talk about how omnipresent and omnipotent God is. Well, if God is everywhere, if the Creator is everywhere, Jehovah, Yahweh, Allah, if He's everywhere, then wouldn't He be able to create blessings where He was? Wouldn't He be able to dispense blessings from His location if He's everywhere? So if He's in a certain location and He dispenses a blessing, so you're saying the only way that you can get any blessings or anything from God has to be from the temple or from the church. See, that's a bit of a hypocrisy, isn't it? I mean, why would He just wait to go to the temple, go to the church or whatever, and that's the only place you can get a blessing from. Think about it. But then you profess he's everywhere. So you're saying basically he's everywhere, but he does nothing for anybody. He doesn't bless anybody unless he's in your house of worship. So he has to stop by your house of worship before you get a blessing. I mean, you hear what I'm saying here? And I know it's making some people think right now, but you got to be real careful. You got to believe what is reasonable. He didn't give us free will and a rational mind for nothing. We're supposed to think things out. We're supposed to investigate. We're supposed to reach out things. He created us. He created us. We're supposed to do those things. And to turn around and to have a family that's going through the same thing over and over and over again, just throwing away opportunities because they weren't presented in the way they were trained to believe they should have been presented. No. Our Creator created each one of us with a purpose. There's two things I believe. I believe everybody has a universal purpose, and I believe that our Creator wants us to live in abundance. That abundance comes in many forms, and it varies from person to person. But He doesn't want us spending all of our time having to worry about how we're going to survive. Because that's not a fulfilling life, and that's not showing love. So I just wanted to reemphasize that. I don't know why, but I had it on my list to talk about. And hopefully it helps someone pay close attention. You have to play an active role in your spirituality. That's what faith is about. Faith is not just about listening and speaking and thinking and praying. It's about acting too. So not only are the words that are being taught to you, you have to walk in those words. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and leave you guys to it. Have a great day.